My boyfriend, let's call him Jake, 30M, and I, 28F, have been together for 3 years. We've had our ups and downs, but overall, he's been my rock. He's funny, caring, and we've always talked about building a life together. Last month, we took a huge step and moved into our first house together. It's an old Victorian-style place in a small town, super charming, but definitely a fixer-upper. We got it for a steal because it had been empty for years, and we were thrilled to start this new chapter. But ever since we moved in, things have been off. At first, it was small stuff. Jake started acting distant, like he was preoccupied. He'd spend hours in the basement, saying he was checking the foundation or fixing pipes, even though he's not exactly Mr. Handyman. I'd ask to help, but he'd brush me off, saying it was boring guy stuff. I figured he was just stressed about the move, so I let it slide. But then I started noticing other things. For one, Jake's been super secretive about his phone. He used to leave it lying around, but now he keeps it on him at all times, even taking it into the bathroom. One night, I woke up at 3 a.m. and saw him in the living room, texting someone with this intense look on his face. When I asked who he was talking to, he said it was his brother about work stuff and got defensive when I pressed. His brother lives across the country and works in retail, so what work stuff could they possibly be discussing at 3 a.m.? It felt like a lie, but I didn't want to accuse him of anything without proof. The house itself is also giving me the creeps. It's old, so I expected creaks and drafts, but there's this one spot in the hallway near the basement door where I always feel watched. Like the air feels heavier there, and I get this prickling on the back of my neck. I mentioned it to Jake, and he laughed it off, saying I was imagining things because I'd been watching too many horror movies. But I swear, sometimes when I walk past that spot, I hear a faint whisper, like someone saying my name, but so soft I can't be sure. I tried telling Jake, but he just said old houses make weird noises and changed the subject. The real tipping point came last week. I was home alone while Jake was at work. He's a graphic designer, usually worked from home, but had to go to the office for a meeting. I decided to do some cleaning in the basement, since Jake's been spending so much time down there. The basement is creepy, dim, damp, with exposed brick walls and a single flickering bulb. I found a locked door in the far corner, one I'd never noticed before. It was old, wooden, with a rusty padlock, and it looked out of place like it didn't belong to the rest of the house. I tried asking Jake about it when he got home, but he got weirdly angry, saying it was just storage and I shouldn't snoop around. That's not like him. He's never been the controlling type. Since then, things have escalated. Jake's been staying up late, sneaking down to the basement when he thinks I'm asleep. 2 nights ago, I woke up to find his side of the bed empty. I crept downstairs and heard him talking in the basement, not on the phone, but like he was having conversation with someone. I couldn't make out the words, but his tone was pleading, almost desperate. I was too scared to go down there, so I went back to bed and pretended to be asleep when he came back. He smelled like damp earth, and his hands were smudged with dirt like he'd been digging. I'm starting to think Jake's hiding something big. Is he cheating? Is he involved in something illegal? Or is it the house? I know this sounds crazy, but I keep having these dreams about that locked door in the basement. In the dreams, I open it, and there's this dark, endless void on the other side, and something inside is calling my name in Jake's voice, but it's not him. I wake up sweating, and last night I swear I saw a shadow standing at the foot of our bed, just watching me. When I turned on the light, it was gone. Our relationship is falling apart. Jake's barely talking to me now, and when he does, he's irritable or distracted. I love him, but I'm scared of him, of the house, of whatever's going on. I've thought about leaving, but we just signed a lease, and I don't have anywhere else to go. Plus, part of me still hopes we can fix this. I tried looking up the house's history online, but all I found was a vague article about it being abandoned after the previous owners left suddenly in the 90s. No details. Reddit, what do I do? Should I confront Jake? Try to get into that locked room? Or am I just paranoid and letting this creepy house get to me? I feel like I'm losing my mind that a lot of you said I should confront Jake or try to get into the locked room to figure out what's going on. I was terrified, but I couldn't keep living like this. So yesterday morning, I waited until Jake left for a work meeting which I'm not even sure was real, and decided to investigate the basement. I grabbed a crowbar from the garage and a flashlight because the bulb down there is so dim, it's basically useless. The basement was even creepier in the daytime. That heavy, watched feeling was stronger than ever, and the air smelled like mildew and something metallic like old blood. I made my way to the locked door, my heart pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. The padlock was old and rusted, but it held firm. I wedged the crowbar under it and pried with all my strength. After a few tries, the lock snapped and the door creaked open. Inside was a small, cramped room, maybe 10 by 10 feet. The walls were covered in scratches like someone had clawed at them, and there was a pile of dirt in the corner like someone had been digging. In the center of the room was a wooden box about the size of a shoebox, carved with strange symbols I didn't recognize. My hands were shaking, but I opened it. Inside was a locket, old, tarnished, with a faded photo of a woman who looked eerily like me. Same hair color, same build, even the same jawline. There was also a bundle of letters, yellowed with age, addressed to someone named Eleanor. I didn't have time to read them because I heard the front door slam upstairs. Jake was home. I shoved the locket and letters into my pocket, closed the box, and ran upstairs, trying to act normal. Jake was in the kitchen, and he looked wrong. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was pale, like he hadn't slept in days. He asked what I'd been doing, and I lied, saying I was just cleaning. He stared at me for a long time, then said, "You shouldn't go in the basement. It's not safe." His voice was flat, like he was reciting something. Last night was worse. I hid the locket and letters under my pillow, planning to read them today. Around midnight, I woke up to Jake standing over me, staring. He wasn't moving, just looking at me with this blank expression. I screamed, and he snapped out of it, saying he was checking if I was okay because I'd been talking in my sleep. I know I wasn't. This morning, I read the letters. They're from the 90s, written by a man named Thomas to Eleanor, the woman in the locket. They start off sweet, like love letters, but get darker. Thomas talks about keeping her safe in the house, about how the shadows want her, but he won't let them take her. The last letter just says, "I'm sorry, Eleanor. I didn't know it would be like this. I'll lock it away, but it's not enough." I Googled the names and found an old news article. Eleanor and Thomas were the previous owners. She disappeared, and he was found dead in the basement, ruled a suicide. The article didn't mention the locked room. I'm terrified. I think Jake found something in that room when we moved in, and it's changing him. He's not himself anymore. I tried calling his brother to ask if Jake's been acting weird, but his brother said he hasn't talked to Jake in weeks. I don't know what to do. I'm at the coffee shop now, but I have to go back home too. Tonight, because I have nowhere else to stay. Should I leave the locket and letters where Jake can find them, confront him, or to just run? I'm shaking as I type this. I don't know how much time I have, so I'll make this quick. I went back to the house because I had to get my stuff. I planned to pack a bag and stay with a friend until I could figure things out. When I got there, Jake was in the basement again, and the door to the locked room was wide open. I could hear him talking, but it wasn't his voice. It was deeper, guttural, like two voices layered over each other. I crept downstairs, against every instinct screaming at me to run. The basement was freezing, and that metallic smell was overpowering. Jake was kneeling in front of the wooden box, the locket in his hands. He was chanting something words I couldn't understand, and the air felt alive like it was pulsing. The scratches on the walls were glowing faintly, and I swear I saw shadows moving, not cast by anything, just writhing. I must have made a noise because Jake turned, and his eyes, they weren't his. They were black, completely black, like voids. He smiled, but it wasn't Jake's smile. He said, "Eleanor, you came back." I screamed and ran, locking myself in the bathroom upstairs. I could hear him know, coming up the stairs, whispering my name, but not my real name. "Eleanor." I'm hiding now, typing this on my phone. The letters and locket are still in my pocket. I think whatever's in this house wanted Eleanor, and now it wants me. Jake's not Jake anymore. I don't know if he ever was, or if the house got to him the moment we moved in. I can hear scratching at the door now, and the whispers are louder, saying things I can't understand but feel in my bones. I'm going to try to get out through the window. If I don't update again, please If anyone lives near Redacted Town, stay away from that house. Don't buy it, don't visit it, don't even walk past it. And if you see a locket with a woman who looks like me, burn it.